I know you like that, right?
Meet Hoxie Rae, New York's indie soul firestorm channeling Ma Rainey's grit, Etta James' fire, and Sharon Jones' swagger into pure, unfiltered magic. She chose her name, Hoxie, to honor her steel-willed grandmother, who became her rock, and Rae from her childhood nickname. From a note from an unknown admirer that was placed on her New York City apartment door that read, "You sound good, keep going," changed everything. Her latest tune, just recently made available, Heal, is a slow burn anthem of rising from Betrayal's ashes. R&B, blues, jazz, pop-noir, Hoxie's stepping into her boldest self, and she's just getting started. Hoxie Rae, the future of soul starts here. Now here's the Trout with Hoxie. Enjoy this up and coming musical talent.
I'll take my time and heal it from you. I cannot blame myself for the things you...
First off, I really like working with younger artists. And it's a very simple thing. First off, well, I see the talent that you have in
Thank you.
songwriting.
Thank you.
And you've obviously already surrounded yourself either by happenstance or by luck with some great people that can make a great recording for you. Because I'm a producer myself, and I can listen to stuff, and it's interesting. I pick up on stuff. My wife always tells me, "You don't listen to music like I do." You know, she said, "Yeah, I just listen for fun. You're listening for okay." So I'm listening to Heal, and the little delays that are in there. Those are those little touches that I go, "That's really cool." The way they put that little thing, and whether so. Let's start out with that. I'll get to your
Cool.
life and all that good stuff. Let's talk about that song. Tell me the
Okay.
concept on it, and then how do you write? Do you write on a piano? Do you write on a guitar, or how do you write?
So I've always been writing here and there, like throughout my life, but I just recently, in around 2020, I started really writing music. And I really write pretty impulsively. It's usually a breaking point where I'm in too much pain and I don't know what else to do, so I end up
Mm.
writing. And I think, you know, around the time that I wrote this song, I was actually traveling. I was traveling in my car, I was driving from Michigan down to Texas, actually. And it's a journey. And when you're alone with yourself for quite some time, you really start to reflect on, at least for me, I started to really reflect on the relationships that I had and the people that hurt me. And I couldn't understand why I kept blaming myself when the reality was that we were never going to be aligned because their
Right.
reality was so wildly different than mine. And, I think I've had to, through music, I've been able to trust myself a little bit more in my own intuition because with these types of relationships, and I hate to say it so blunt, but with narcissists and emotional abuse, it really wears at your self-esteem over a period of time.
Sure.
So for me to come out of these types of dynamics and, be alone and start to process everything, I guess I reached a point where I was like, I feel like there's nothing else that I can do. Because I would sit
Mm.
around and I forgot the name of the town. Oh man, it's like a half hour outside of Austin. Oh, Cedar Park, I think I was
Oh,
near.
okay. Yeah,
Le
yeah, yeah. It's a suburb.
Leander? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
It
suburb.
was it was great over there. So I would, I'd go to Austin sometimes during the day and I would explore and then I'd go back. But it's totally two different worlds between Austin and there. So I would write a lot. I would wake up and I would
Yeah.
write. I would go to sleep and I was writing. Um, and I just think I came to a point where I just needed to stop blaming myself. And I don't mean to go on too much of a tangent. It's just I'm still working through a lot of this, if I'm being totally honest. And
Yeah.
it's, it's quite the journey, I think, in trusting your own truth and being able to share that with people, but without blaming anyone specific, you know?
How long did you stay here in Texas?
A couple weeks. Yeah,
Okay.
couple
Are
weeks.
you originally
Um,
from New York?
yes, yes. I
Okay.
really wanted to kind of see if there were other places. I wanted to find myself, as silly as that sounds. I know people travel for all different
No,
reasons,
no,
but
no. I understand.
you
Yeah.
know, I felt really broken and I had only really lived in New York for most of my life. And I wanted to change and I ended up all over and it was great. It was truly cathartic for me. I think that's why I am so
Hmm.
strong in my messaging because it's taken me so many years to just get to where I am right now. And even though it's not a straight path forward, I know where I'm headed and I know my intention. And it's really to help. Of course, like you were saying, when you write for yourself. I have to write for
Hmm.
myself. If I'm not
Hmm.
writing for myself, I feel like I'm not, I know there's no right way to do it, but I feel like for
Hmm.
me, that's the wrong way. I can't just write to make other people happy. And
No,
oh,
you'll
yeah.
never succeed doing that.
Exactly. I mean, but I was living my life for other people. I really mean that. Like I didn't realize the amount of sacrifice that I was putting into myself. Like I was sacrificing so much of my own happiness to sustain a lot of the relationships of people in my life. And I mean, people that were very, very close to me, like relationships that are hard to rip away from. And that's why I don't like to talk about anyone in particular because it's a series of different people. I like
Sure.
to think of it
Yeah.
as like just different bodies, but same pattern, you know? And the true like waking moment for me is writing the song and being able to come out with it and talk about it in a way where I'm not ashamed. I'm not blaming myself. That was the whole purpose of writing this. Like I didn't want to blame myself anymore for other people's behavior. That's what I did for many, many years, like too many years.
So here's a very important question. When you heard the final mix of Heal, did you cry?
Mhm.
Do you remember listening to it for the final time and you listened to, I remember writing songs like that and I'm going like, it's there's a release valve there.
Yeah. I think what happened was I wrote it and I kind of left it. I just left it
Okay.
alone. It was kind of like I wrote it, I recorded it. Brendan's amazing. He produced it and Brendan Keenan, and he sent it over and I loved it. I remember I loved it, but I needed to still process. I was still processing everything. And I write, it wasn't really, it was kind of impulsive. Like I kind of really truly, I wrote it and I recorded it and then it was done. And I was
And
like,
then
I
you
don't
moved
know what
on.
I'm gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know exactly what I would do with that. But what happened was I was in my car and I would say, maybe I should listen to that. Like, let's just see, you know? And that's really when those moments of like, I feel something when I listen to this, and I think I'm a huge
Yeah.
perfectionist. I really hard to determine, when you're done with a song, especially as a new artist. Like it's all very important to me, but I want to have all the music in the world right now. I really do. Like I'm very focused on the art that I'm making, you know,
Hmm.
right now. So, um, coming to peace with the fact that, it was a moment in time. It's that's it. It was a moment in time and now we're here and hopefully it can continue on. But yeah, I don't know if that makes too much
But
sense. When I was like on the road by myself, I really miss the water like a lot. And I
yeah.
think but the second I left New York, and this is like so typical. I'm like, I'm not coming back. I'm done, right? And like in a minute, I was like, I kind of miss the city. I kind of miss the
Yeah.
water. And over time, it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna go back. Like I just really miss New York City is truly an anomaly on its own, especially after visiting so many different cities. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, cities are every city has its own like
Yeah.
true beauty, I think, and I love that. But New York specifically is incredible. It's just something that's not repeatable, at least I think, from my opinion. And maybe I'm biased because I'm
Well,
from New
you're
York,
from
and
there, but I can tell you, going to London, Paris, uh, oh, let me think about Berlin, all those, I've been to all those cities. It's the same everywhere. It's just it's a different vibe. When did you start performing? Were you young? Did you start playing the piano or did you start singing? Tell me a little bit about that.
well, I mean, I think that's the funny part. I held it in for a really long time. I really only sang privately, like in the shower for most
Hmm.
of my life, honestly. And it wasn't until I was living in the East Village, in this tiny, tiny apartment, um, I was in so much pain. I could not hold it in anymore. And I started to just belt out. I actually, at that point, I was too afraid to sing even in the shower because there were so many people. My apartment was so small. Like
Yeah.
my
And
neighbor, he already didn't like me. You know what I mean? I keep my TV pretty loud. I was in my 20s. I was going through it. I was having a hard time. Either
yeah.
way,
Yeah.
one day I just said, I really need to release somehow. And I just started, I would put my phone on or whatever, and I would just start to sing. And I didn't think I could sing. Like for real, I really didn't. And I would go at this point, I was kind of going to open mics and I would just sit there and watch. Um, and I would also, this is really sad, but I would, not sad, but I really wanted it. So I would go into karaoke rooms too, and I would rent out a room and I would just practice just to see like, am I delusional? Like, do I like doing this? Is this something that I like? Do I have to keep
Hmm.
judging myself every time I try this? Like, because like I said, these when you're around types of energies that tend to drain you subconsciously,
Hmm.
whether you know it or not, you,
Hmm.
for me, I really did give more than I could to many, many people, and they would just take from me. And I realized that there's no end to that.
No, no, no,
You,
no. People take from you all the rest of your life. You let them.
exactly. So, I'm in realizing that I've slowly come into my own and like, well, I just like to do this. This is just something that I like to do. But it started out really, really slowly in that apartment, just singing in the shower. One time I went out, I'll never forget it because it was like a breaking point for me. There was a note on my door that said, you sound good, keep going. And I was like, oh my
Mm.
God, I sound good. I sound good. Someone thinks I sound good. Like, that's crazy. I remember being like, maybe I could do this. If I like to do this, then why shouldn't I, right? And
Did you
that
know
was
the
in
person that put the note on your, I'm sorry, did you know the person that put
no,
it? You know what
no.
that was? Do
I-
you know what that was?
What was
Whether
it?
you believe it or not, that was a God moment.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. That probably happened in the very, very beginning of 2020. And then what happened actually was my one of my best friends, she was like a mentor and my best friend, she was 91 or 92. I always mess that up. I'm like, I'm sure she's like mad at me, but she passed in
She's in her,
2020.
she was in her 90s. That's the best way to
Yeah,
say
she was
it.
in her 90s. Yeah.
Okay. Because when you get
But
that far, it doesn't matter what you
yeah,
do.
I know. But I just think of her like, no, I was 92. Anyway,
Yeah.
she was like such a light in my life. And before she passed, I was really trying to cope with the fact that she wouldn't be here anymore. I really relied on her for everything. It was devastating for me to lose her. And one of the last things that she said to me was, she said, "What are you doing with your music?" And I said, "Nothing." And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "I'm scared." And
Mm.
there was so much fear behind it. It's not about
Mm.
the fear, it was about me being myself that I was afraid of. And I remember she said, "What do you think's going to happen? Do you think the floor is going to fall out from under you?" And it sounded ridiculous to me, but I was
But
like,
that's true. It's true.
kinda, yeah,
Yeah.
kinda. Like that's kind of how I feel. And um then 2020 happened, a couple months later, and it's been a journey. Like I've really had to work hard on allowing myself to have fun with it and to enjoy myself. Like singing and writing and music is something that I love to do it. It makes me really sad that I would take that away from myself or I would deprive myself of that. I never want to do that ever again. And I want to encourage everyone when they're second guessing their intuition, like I did for many, many years, listen to that. I want people to say, why am I doubting myself? Like, because there was never any reason for me to actually doubt myself other than that people around me telling me to. And I don't mean just with music. I mean with me just being a person and
Yeah.
existing,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So,
Well, here's the thing. Creative people, we're all weird. I'm sure people already told you this. I could tell by just talking to you and the people you like, you're listening to. You're kind of an old soul, what we call an old
yeah,
soul.
yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
you're
For
hanging
sure.
out with 90-year-old people.
Yes.
Your friends are
Yes.
like, why are you hanging out with somebody? Oh my God, they're ancient. But you got something out of that that they would have never got out of it. And it
Hmm.
still gets you when you talk about it. So you're in that mode of you probably getting past the fact that I'm not worthy. I know what I'm doing. You'll always continually try to be better. We all do that. I bring an album out, okay, I'm going to work on the next one, it has to be better than that. And people say, what do you mean it's better? Well, you know it's better, you
Right.
know.
Hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
and so tell me something about your childhood. You grew up, you played a lot of time along, okay. Do you have siblings in your family, or are you the only child, or what's all that about?
Well, I have a brother and I have four siblings that are in they're further away, but we have a pretty close relationship. And um I think it's really interesting, honestly, and it's kind of difficult for me to talk about if I'm being
Mm,
totally honest, because
it's all
my
right.
childhood little, yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, I think I want to talk about these things because that was a big reason I spend time on Long Island. I like to be who I am now with all the growth that I've achieved on my own. And I don't mean that in a grandiose way. I just mean I see through conditioning now. I see
Mm,
through um, just people that are not authentic, honestly. And I think it is challenging and refreshing for me to be here, to be back here.
mm,
Um, but to answer your question, I have five siblings,
okay.
I think yeah, I really it's interesting to talk about, I think, for me, because it was kind of a culture shock in a weird way to come back here after doing so much like processing and really trying to get to the bottom of why I spent so many years doubting myself and almost like hiding, if I'm being honest. Like I just would hide. I think we're talking about not feeling worthy. I was like, I'm not worthy and I'm going to disappear. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I think
mm,
now it's like I, I don't even think about that. I'm just like, I like doing this. This is what I love to do. Who cares? Like, let's just see what happens. And it's not even, but to think that I was, you know, paying for a karaoke room just to sit by myself for 2 hours, just to hear myself, just to see, like, what do I
yeah.
sound like? It's like, it's kind of it's just refreshing for me, I think. But I will say, most of my siblings were all older, so everyone's kind of living their own life, which is
Sure,
great.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but for sure, I mean, I do hope in the future I could talk more transparently about, my upbringing and that. I will say I've been very blessed all throughout my life. It's just I'm still processing a lot of the first half of my life.
Yeah.
And that's just me being truly candid with you. Like, I don't know how else to answer these questions. Like, it's funny because if you were to ask me this when I was 13, I would have been like, oh, you know what I mean? It's just so much
Yes.
happens in between. And family trauma and trauma in general is a big part of my story and my music. And I really hope that I can get to the bottom of it and speak about it in a cathartic way, if that makes
Well,
sense. I hope.
yeah, I think what you're going to be doing is speaking through your music all the time.
I think you asked me earlier when I started performing. I don't know, but it was in
Yeah.
2022. I joined two cover bands, and oh my God, the joy that I got out of that, it was crazy. I mean, I remember I still think about it. There was one gig that we had, and I remember this woman, I could cry thinking about it. She was dancing all
Mm,
night, and she came up to me after and she said, I just had a death in my family, and I really want to thank you
mm,
for playing tonight. And I said, are you like my heart just melted. I
yeah.
mean, all I want
Yeah.
to do is music is beautiful in that way. And it saved me when I was in pain, like in that tiny apartment. And I thought, oh my God, I can't even believe that I just took someone out of whatever they were feeling, even if it's just for 1 second. I saw her dancing all night. And
Yeah.
like, that's one of those moments where I'm like, it's not even about, I do it for me because it feels good, but it's
Sure
not
you do.
about me once I'm doing it. It's
No.
like, it's
No.
about community, it's about joy, it's about feeling love all together. And I want to have that so badly for my own music, but I'm writing right now.
Well, who was the person that helped produce your songs?
Oh, Brendan Keenan, yes.
Okay.
So actually right now I'm working on an EP. I have a couple different
Saw
songs
that.
that, are done. Yeah, and I mean I am heavily, heavily focused on writing, and I honestly feel like it's such a growth process for me every time I step in the studio and every time I write. I feel like I'm pushing myself to be more myself. Like these songs are really truly just the beginning. I love that I'm getting good feedback, but I genuinely can't wait to see what I come up with because I feel like I'm not where I want to be yet as an artist. And I
Mhm.
think it just comes with the um using that muscle of, writing consistently, recording consistently, performing, and the whole kind of package. I've never done all of these things at once, because my journey started a little bit later and
Right.
because I had to work through these obstacles of can I sing to like who cares if I could sing or not? I just like doing it.
Yep.
Um, I'm excited. I really am. Like I'm genuinely kind of excited to see what happens. I will never stop doing this. It's my favorite thing to do. And I think especially now that, especially being here, I'm like, I can never, this is amazing. I feel incredibly grateful to just to get to talk to people about life and music and what it can do for all of us. I hate to be so cliche, but it really is such a beautiful thing for me to be a part of. It's funny because, when I first started like really diving into the industry and meeting people, I started to see the underlay of the business and where people do music for all sorts of different things, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, I had to really come to terms with the fact that I'm doing this t- to be myself because I've never given myself that chance. And it's just as simple as that. I don't do it like almost like everything else is almost extra for me right now because I'm like, I didn't even expect anything. I just wanted to be myself. I just wanted
Mhm.
to feel comfortable with myself. Like that is something that I have never done. I know that's crazy. I know that's
No, I
crazy, but I've
understand. I
never done
understand.
that.
Yeah.
And I think as a musician, I'm sure as time goes on, I'll want different things, maybe. But right now, I'm just truly focused on like being myself, sharing that with people, continuing on to be a better writer and musician, and seeing what happens. I feel like I had to really put things into perspective. Like, what do I want from this? What do I want from releasing music,
Well,
from
you
being a
want you want to
musician?
make enough money so you could live. That's one of the things you want to do, huh?
Well, I
I
mean, the
mean,
thing is that yeah, I feel like we all want that, right? But I think
yeah.
at the end of the day, to do it without that expectation or
Well, that's
without
okay. Yeah.
wanting that, yeah, like I really had to put all of that aside. I'm not
I think you can't
focused.
think about. Oh, I know I read this, but tell me again. No, you didn't tell me again. I'm asking you. Grandmother's name? What was the story on your name? Because you're going to get asked
Yes.
that every time you're going to get asked. I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, thank God because I need her. My grandmother, she was my dad's mom. She's from Long Island and she was scary. She scared me as a kid. She was very strong. She knew what she wanted. She really didn't care about what anyone had to say or their opinions. She was a strong woman. And especially for me as a child, I feel like I've been a people pleaser since I was like 3 or 4 years old. I have no idea when that started, but by the time I was 8 or 9, I was fully embedded and I can't trust myself and I have to trust everyone else around me. And she was one of those people where I would just look at her like, oh my God, how is she doing that? You know what I mean? Like she just had this autonomy and this way about her
Yeah.
and she could sing. She could really sing. And she sang at church. And I really struggled. Like I said, I did not think that I could sing at all. It was difficult for me to say, who cares if I can't sing? I'm going to do it because I like it. And that's kind of
Right.
how I started this whole thing. I just said, just do it. And like a lot of that voice is her. A lot of that voice to me is her. She's no longer with us. I lost her when I was a teenager. But I feel her with me when I'm on stage. Like I don't think
So
that
was that her name or is that
oh, so her last name was Hoxie, and I wanted
Okay.
to keep that on. Yeah, and it was important for me to continue on and have that as a piece of who I am as an artist.
Sure.
I think I always want to remember that strength that she had and to always just carry that with me as Hoxie Rae, and Ray is my nickname as when I was a kid. And
But
I
here's the
really
great thing about it. You could be a great country artist with that name. Hey, it's Hoxie
hey,
Rae.
you never know. You never know. You never know. I'm
Is
open.
she
I'm
here in
very
town? Yeah, she's in Nashville right now. Hoxie Rae. Hey, come on, Hoxie.
well, that's the thing. Like, I really am here up for the journey. I'm really excited to see what
Yeah.
happens. And I'm very, very open to all possibilities right
Do you have a band you can go with, or tell me a little bit about how you're going to perform? Are you going
I
to
have
use
different,
you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay. I have different, friends of mine who will play guitar with me. Especially when I was just kind of doing gigs on my own.
You
That's
play
kind of how
guitar, I take it.
I do not.
Oh,
I do
what do you
not.
play then?
That was my very roundabout way of saying that I don't play any instruments. I'm learning piano. I'm
Oh,
learning
that's
piano.
okay. So you have
But
to have
no, I
somebody come
know,
in.
but
Yeah, okay. No, no, no. That's all right.
it's important to me, to learn and to learn. I really, and it's funny, I will call myself out and say that I bought a piano keyboard in Atlanta and I just carried it around with me like to different states because I really wanted to learn. The intention was there, right?
Yeah.
It's still, I'm working on it, but regardless, right now I'm trying really hard to not get too like I feel like maybe further along in my journey it will be more natural for me to, play it. But I'm moving and I do come up with a decent amount, I will say, just playing on the piano with melodies and stuff. But yeah, I have a couple different guitarists that I work with and I plan on putting a band together. But for right now, I'm uh really focused on the overall tone of the album. I feel like, or the EP, that I feel like it's really going to be a reflection of me. I think that these songs are I'm on my way and I'm proud of them and I love where they're at, but I'm really excited to see my EP fully come to life in that way.